Hey everybody, welcome to Muscular Development's preview of the Romania Musclefest happening this weekend in Bucharest, Romania, which I believe is in Eastern Europe. Joining me now from Western Europe, the United Kingdom, Giles Tiger Thomas. How are you, Giles?
How you doing, Ron? Ron, just before we started, this has done a little update, and it feels like I can reach out and stroke you. I feel like you're in the room with me, Ron. So this is absolutely amazing, mate.
4K. Yeah. So before we get into Romania, we just had another show, the Europa Pro in Alicante, Spain. And who won that again?
Theo
Le Carrere. Gosh. So Theo is going into the Olympia with a win. He was already the point leader. There was no way anyone was going to knock him out of the top three in point standing, no matter what happened this weekend in Romania. But he sealed the deal. Like you said, why not go in with a win rather than somebody who just got there with doing a bunch of shows and gaining points? So congrats to Theo.
Theo, when the live went out of our preview, he started sending, because I wasn't watching the live. I forget what I was doing. I started getting these messages come from my phone from Theo, these voice notes. And obviously he was watching it thinking we were talking live.
Yeah.
And he was saying, he says, no, he says, I want to do it. He says, because it's my job. He says, and I want to compete. And obviously going in with a win is better than going in on points. And obviously he got 10 grand for it as well, $10,000. Yep. So yes, I mean, we were pretty bang on with our predictions. We said Theo and Kokeni, didn't we, as the kind of two front runners?
Yeah, I've never even heard of Kokeni, so all credit to you. I had no idea who that guy was. And he was second place, right?
Yeah, he was second. Yeah.
Wow. So picked up some points. Maybe I'm surprised he didn't do this show, but I don't think there was any way he could have picked up enough points, even unless he won. Obviously, that would be a guaranteed way. But I guess there was no reason to do this show too. He wouldn't have got any points.
I tell you what, I think he will do. If he's smart, he'll go and do the Big Man Weekend the week after this show, because this is the next Spain show, which is next week, the Big Man Weekend in Alicante, same venue, but this is a qualifier for 2023. So imagine if Kokeni, if I was his coach, I would have said, look, skip Romania and go and get ready for and come in 100% for the Big Man Weekend, and then you qualified for next year's Olympia. So if he's really, I'm guessing that's what he's going to do, because he took third in Prague. He took second here at Alicante. So I would imagine, if he's smart, he's going to shut it down until, next week, and then go win in Spain. And like I said, go qualify. And then he's got the full year, to sort of just get ready for the Olympia. So that would be a smart move for him.
Yeah, imagine, because that's happened a couple of times where we've had these post-Olympia shows. I'm sorry, the shows that qualify for the Olympia, and then they don't have to compete again for like 15 months because the Olympia might be. Imagine that. That's a long time to.
Holland's Head, remember?
Right. And James actually pulled out of the Olympia.
What?
I believe he's out.
This Olympia. Why?
I think he's all burnt out. Too many shows. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. They'll correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But
No. He's only done one show. He's done he did the Arnold UK, and then he did the one that he won, which was Italy, wasn't it? Or Italy or France? No, Italy.
Yeah.
Hang on, no, it was France.
Well, you have to forgive me, because sometimes I fall victim to the clickbait videos, which sometimes I just look at the title and like, oh no, he's out, and they're not really out.
No, I saw an update video of him this morning, an update picture this morning.
Yeah.
So, and it said he looked great, and it was like a recent picture. So I'm guessing he's definitely doing the Olympia. I think if he skips this Olympia, he's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to get on the Olympia looking the way he does when he wins the shows that he qualifies for the Olympia at, because thus far he has not done that. So yeah, looking forward to James. All right, let's get into Romania Musclefest, because this is the last chance to qualify for the Mr. Olympia this year. It's the very last, because we've had so many shows. My goodness gracious, and there's still Europe has really stepped up their game. There's been 300 or 400 shows in Europe this year, I believe.
It's only 250. Don't exaggerate.
It's still a lot, man. It's still a lot of shows. But let's get into it, because first guy on my list is my favorite. Didn't respond to me for an interview, but it's okay, Brett. I still love you. Brett Wilkin, who I thought was going to shut it all down until next year. I didn't think we'd see Brett. He did the Arnold Classic. I thought he looked pretty good. You could see that he needed a couple things still. Needed a little bit more overall mass, a little bit more legs. I thought we wouldn't see this guy till next year, but here he is going into Romania, and that's my favorite to win this, looking at this list of people. And I know there's some names on here that you're more familiar with than I'm not, that might have a good chance of beating him, but Where do you see Brett in his chances for Romania Musclefest?
Well, he is one of the front runners, obviously. I mean, he was because I mean, he just missed his condition at the Arnold Classic. He took 6th place. I mean, the thing is, remember the progress videos we saw and all the photos, and everyone was like, he's going to beat Brandon Curry, he's going to beat William Bonac, and it was like, and it was kind of what kind of was a disappointment because he didn't look as good as we saw in the run up. Yeah. His condition wasn't bang on. He had all this new size and he didn't manage to get it hard enough because, like I said, all the pictures we saw of Matt Jansen in the background, he was looking absolutely insane. He was looking incredible, but it didn't translate to the stage. So, but I think it's very, very smart him doing this. He's coming because there's not many Americans have come over and done these European shows, and we've had a lot of shows. And there's if there was some American or Canadian pros that hadn't qualified, they'd have been smart to come over and do this like Brett. So what Brett's done here is very, very smart. And thing is, I saw some pictures, and again, he looks fantastic in the pictures. He looks hard. He looks full. So I imagine he's gone all out. And also, he didn't get back to me about an interview as well. But you know what? You know what though? It's always a gamble when they're a week out, and I don't. They don't go on my GFY list, but so not even the amber GFY because I've got two. I've got amber and green.
What's GFY?
Well, what do you think it stands for?
Go F yourself. Okay. Well, honestly, I prefer interviewing people after shows anyway, to be honest with you.
No. I always say to guys, like, because I said, look, if I get you on, I'll cut it at 20 or 30 minutes because, it's fine because Brett's always been amazing. He was always made himself very available. He's always a fantastic guy to interview. 100%. So I don't get arsey about that one. I don't cry about that one. But he is the front runner, I think. But there's a couple other guys that I think, if he doesn't bring it, they will absolutely spank him.
Just one thing to add. I remember talking to Brett after the Arnold Classic, and him and Matt, they did have a strategy that didn't pan out the way. They came in bigger and fuller, and they did intentionally sacrifice a little bit of condition, thinking that because they were up against bigger dudes that was going to be the way to go. So I don't see them making that mistake again. So let's move on to our next gentleman on the list. We talked about Milan Shadek last time. He was 4th place in Prague. We got some heat for suggesting he moved down to 212, which, I don't, because he's not that heavy, but he does look better, significantly better with the added muscle tissue. And, 4th place in Prague was not an easy show. So Milan, definitely another front runner for this, definitely a first call out guy.
Well, I was at the after party at the owner of EVLS's house. We were at his house, and Chris O was there. Everyone was there. And I had a really good chat with Milan because I got on really, really well with him. We had he's kind of like someone who takes feedback really, really well. And he came up to me and he said, "Look, Giles, what is your feedback?" And I talked about last year when he had remember the shoulders, the smaller shoulders,
the dodgy delts, yeah.
Yeah, and he said he'd stopped all that, and he said he was really he's still paranoid about it. And I said, "No," I said, "Your shoulders are nice and stripy again." I said,
We're going to get everyone in the world saying stripy delts pretty soon.
Yeah, well, yeah. So bring back stripy delts. Yeah. And I said, no. I said, mate. I said, you stopped that because he stopped it. He stopped doing that 4 weeks out from the show last year, and it looked terrible. But he hasn't done it since, and he's had lots of treatment on it, and he stopped it. So it's been well over a year now, probably nearly a year and a half actually. Okay. So and I said, mate. I said, I look closely. I said because you know me, I'm a stickler for that, and your shoulders look fine. I think because he looked really, really good in Prague, but when I looked at the high quality pictures, I have seen him sharper. And I think that 2 weeks, 2 weeks from Prague to Romania is a perfect amount of time for him to really tighten up. So, I mean, he took a good placing there in Prague, and it was a good big lineup. But I expect to see him just a 2% sharper, which he needed to be in Prague. I still don't think he would have cracked the top 3 because I thought the top 3 was pretty obvious, but I'd like to see him a little bit sharper, but he's very, very deadly because he's one of these guys that he hasn't got any outstanding body parts, but kind of everything matches. Yeah. He looks good in every compulsory pose. He's got great symmetry, great balance. I mean, this is why he was such a good 212 because he's so balanced, but I'd just like to see him a little bit touch sharper than Prague. And I would see him as one of the obviously a first call out guy, absolutely top 5, but where I don't know.
Okay, well, the next 2 guys, we are both conditioned snobs, and the next 2 guys, they always come in shredded. First one is a Milos client, or at least he was. I hope he still is, from Iran, Behruz Tabani Abargani. Now, has he done pro show before? Because I remember the pictures from last year. I didn't remember if that was a pro show or if that's where he got his pro card.
Can I swear?
Go ahead.
He's fucking awesome, this guy. He's
Peruz,
fucking awesome.
shredded.
He was third in Romania last year.
Okay,
Yeah, so look, so the guy Rafael Brandeo won Romania last year.
Yeah.
Samson was second. Beruz was third. And I'm telling you what, because I was there with Lauren doing the live stream, we sat there next to the judges. And if you watch the live stream, I actually say I would have no arguments if this guy won.
Wow.
So he is so good. I've been speaking to Milos quite a bit about him in the last few weeks and said, how's Beruz looking? You know, what's he been up to? He's been quiet and I because he needed a little bit more quad, but he had these crazy glutes. To be honest, he's honestly potentially he's another Hadi.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see that really crisp detail very often. You just don't. So
Incredible.
when you do see it, it's just like, wow, it shocks you. In his condition, I mean, obviously he's not just a little guy with great condition. He's got some good muscle density.
He's not little. He's big. He's a big guy. His frontal bicep, everything just pops. You know, like when Hadi lifts his arms up. He's bigger than Hadi, but
wow,
he's really, really good. And I tell you what, if Brett isn't actually the best he's ever been, and he doesn't bring condition, Beruz will win this.
Wow.
I'm say it now. He will win this if Brett doesn't bring his best. And I do see it as between Beruz and Brett. Absolutely.
Well, you've been right before, Giles, more than once. So it could happen again. Next gentleman from Germany, Roman Fritz, who's done a few shows this year already. And condition, I still say I'd like to see this guy a little bit bigger and fuller because condition was just bang on. I think I saw him I think he did New York Pro and Chicago or Tampa, 2 of the 3 shows that I was at around that same time. And condition was just bang on at both of them. Would you say Indy? Was he at Indy?
No, yeah, it was 2 shows early in the season when I think it was Chicago. Yeah, it was Chicago, and it was because there's been so many shows. It's hard to keep. I can't even keep up with the shows like in Italy and France. I'm trying to I'm struggling. That's just the European shows, let alone the American shows. But yeah, Roman Fritz is awesome, and he got, was it 5th or 6th in both shows?
Yeah, he was tough. I mean,
that's pretty good.
He was right up there. He was first call out, and like I said, if he was a little bit bigger, I think he'd be pushing for wins.
Yeah, I'd like to see a bit more back on him and a bit more upper body because his lower body's incredible. He's got really nice shape, great condition, good poser. But I see him kind of being like a 5th, 6th, 7th place guy.
Yeah, which is nothing to sneeze at, you know. I mean, look at these, when you see these physiques, to say you took 5th place in this group of human beings, you're doing pretty well. Here's our guy that we keep hoping he's going to win a show, Enrico Hoffman. Enrico I think he was like 5th or 6th in Prague. Is that right?
He was oh god, hang on, 6th in 5th. Oh shit, hang on. He was 4th in was it France or Italy? Then he dropped to 5th or 6th in Prague. I'm sorry, really struggling to keep up. And then last week he was 4th or 5th. I had it in my head. It's completely gone now. But he was around that. So he's kind of bottom end of the first call out guy. I hoped a little bit better for Enrico in these last couple of shows because when I saw him, like I said, I saw him in Prague, and I told you on the last preview, when I went out to see him afterwards, and I said, I don't know what to say. I said, because the judges weren't, you're not in the conversation for top 3 in this show. I said, and it's clear because they're not bringing you back in and they're not really looking at you. So, and to me, he looks fantastic. It's like I said, it's only his quads from the front that are really what you could call anything near a weakness. Yeah. And he's really, really good. I mean, if you saw like the high quality Victor Kalberg video and you see him, I mean, he's hard to, he's apart from his quads from the front, like I said, he's actually hard to fault. Yeah. I mean, judges have a hell of a job. So I don't want to ever criticize the judges, but when I saw that physique, I was like, wow, I thought he'd be 2nd, 3rd, somewhere in the top 3. Me too. Yeah, me too.
All right, let's move on to from Czech Republic, just took 7th place in Prague, Pavel Beran. Pavel's having a pretty good season, I think, so far. And he's still keeping on, trying to get some more points here. Tell me a little bit about Pavel. Well, Pavel came 4th at the EVLS in 2018. Like I said, that was the one that Rowley and Nathan were 1 and 2. I forget who was 3rd. I think it might have been Lucas or Sladl, actually. That's what I've got in my head. Czech Republic's best bodybuilder ever. Yeah. And then Pavel got 4th there. He went to Spain last year and he didn't make top 10. And I was really shocked because I was doing the live stream. And like I said, I can't believe he got a placing like that because he looked really, really good to me from where I was watching. He took 7th place, and George Farrer was right next to me when I was doing the live stream,
And he turned around to me like I had my headset on, and he says, how is that guy, I think number 2 or something, he said, how is that guy not in the first call out? And because I said no, I said he lacks a bit of back thickness, because from the front and the side he's really, really good. He's got really side tricep, he's got some nice aesthetic shots, he's big, he's conditioned, but like I said, it's just when he turns to the back, he lacks that real, he loses those 2 poses, to other guys who have better backs. But until he brings the back up, I mean, he's going to be sort of winning shows, because he's got a nice frame, got plenty of size, it's quality muscle. Like I said, stripy shoulders. And he's like I said, I rate him. I think he's got a really kind of rugged physique, so he's going to be probably sort of top 6 guy for this weekend anyway.
Yeah. We always hear that phrase, contest or one from the back. But how many times are we talking and we say, if this guy just had a little bit more back thickness or whatever? It's like the one, it's aside from quads and hams sometimes, but back is the one area that we see a lot of times. If this guy really had a crazy back, he'd be winning everything. So from the UK, Lewis Breed. I never heard this name before, but now I'm hearing it a lot. Lewis Breed. Yeah, how good is Lewis?
He was 10th in Prague, which I thought was harsh, because I had him, because like I said, he was messaging me after the judging. He said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, go watch the live stream. You can hear what I'm saying." And then I said, "But for what it counts," I said, "I've actually got you around. I think they've got you around 8th place." So I thought 10th was a little bit harsh, but top 10 in a stacked show like that, because he looks really, really good. His condition's very good. He's very, very, very sort of thick, detailed. He's got a lot of muscle. He's like a little tank, And then last week he nailed the condition again and took 7th. So he's kind of sort of, it's good to see a new guy like this doing plenty of shows, because like I said, he competed last year in Spain. I think he was just about top 10 there. But it's a good new addition to the pros. And I think he'll be like a second call out guy, I think, unless the judges really like his look and they maybe move him up to the bottom end of the first call out. But it'd be great to see him back up on stage again anyway.
Random question about the British Championships, because obviously you would know this. I know for many years only the overall champion turned pro. Is it still that way, or do they give out a few more cards now?
Oh no, there's bloody pro cards, like loads of them given out.
Oh, good.
They've Ben Weider shows, amateur Olympias.
No, I know that. But I'm talking about at the British Championships. For many years, the only guy who got a card was the overall champion. Yeah. Is that still the case at the Brits? Yeah,
I think it's. I haven't been to the last few years worth. The last one I went to was in 2017, and that was when James Hollinshead won the overall. And Samson was top 3.
Okay, yeah, because I mean USA Nationals top 2 in every single weight class now.
Oh,
turn pro, so that's nothing. I'm not faulting them, because they crank out like 100 pros at those shows in all the divisions. So Lewis Breed. Now we move on to Spain. We just referenced. I never heard of this guy before, but apparently he's pretty good. Pablo Leopis Munoz, Spain's best. Yeah, what's this guy look like? He's an open. He must be a big dude.
Very, very new to me. Literally, I found him today, and I looked at his Instagram, and tell you what, this is a guy that's got potential. He took 8th place in Alicante last week. Really nice, symmetrical, pleasing. He ticks every box. He's thick, he's detailed, he's balanced. Good looking dude. He's got really, like, you just think, my God, if this guy does everything right in this next couple of years, he's really going to move up. So I'm going to find out more on this guy. I'm going to speak to Emilio, and I'll maybe DM him as well and say, look, or maybe go through his Instagram and really do a bit of research. But like I said, this is a guy very new to me, but from what I've seen so far, he's absolutely fantastic. And I tell you what, remember that name, because I think we're going to be seeing more of him.
Okay, another name I've never heard before, but maybe I'll be hearing a lot more of. From Russia, Artem Pakhniuk. Yeah, did you just discover this guy too, Artem?
Yeah, but then I looked on his Instagram, and I do remember him from Romania last year. And I'm trying, I haven't looked into it enough, because I'm just thinking, was he an amateur, or was he classic then, or something? But I remember him, because as soon as I saw the picture and I saw the background, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this guy. But he was a lot smaller last year, and he's put a lot of size on. He was 6th place in Alicante last weekend. Oh, wow. And I rate him. Yeah, he's another guy. Like I said, it's so exciting. There's so many good new guys coming up now. I mean, it's really unusual. Like, usually when we look at open lineups and we see the names we recognize, and the ones we don't, is usually a good reasons, because they're not very good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now it's like in classic, with the amount of volume of quality competitors, really like A-class quality competitors that are coming through and winning shows. There's a lot of new pros coming through that, like I said, that, I mean, for them to slip under my radar is very, very, with about shows that I'm at, because I'm at Romania this weekend, don't you?
Oh, I didn't know you were going.
Yeah, I'm doing the live stream.
Oh my goodness, boy, you're everywhere. Wow, because I was looking at the time difference. I'm like, oh my God, I hope Giles can do something. Because
yeah, of course I will. I've got it, mate. Don't worry, I've got you. I've got you.
The judging for me starts at 2 a.m.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're 7 hours ahead of the East Coast US. Judging.
Well, I'm doing the live stream, and Lauren's doing interviews backstage for Wings of Strength.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and then hopefully I can get her on the table. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to physically grab Jake Wood when the open guys are on, and I'm going to pull him and I'm going to stick the headset on him. I'm going to say, right, talk to me, because I really want his take, because he did, I think, did he come on? I think I might have had him on for a couple of minutes last year. I can't remember. I know he sat with me for a bit and he was chatting to me, but
on the live stream. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to get Jake on. I think it'd be really, really cool, because he's obviously a huge bodybuilding fan and he's very knowledgeable. So I think it'd be, and I like doing these live streams when I've got somebody with me, that I can bounce off,
Of course. Oh, I can't imagine doing that crap on my own. All right, the last guy we'll talk about in Open. Egypt has done it again. Another great Egyptian coming out, Mohammed Foda. I've never heard of this guy until you told me about him right before we started recording. Mohammed Foda. What's rate his potential? How do you rate him?
He's really, really good. Like I said, he's another kind of like in the Hadi type mold, those kind of small waist, freaky guys, that are just, I remember talking about him when he was an amateur, and then he popped up on stage as a pro at the KO squad, the Egyptian show last year. Yeah. I've got 5th place in my head. I'm sure people will let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm sure he took 5th place last year. Oh, that was the one that Regan won.
Yep.
Samson was 2nd. Mohammed Elamam, I think, was 4th or something. I forget who was 3rd. But yeah, really, really good. And I saw some update pictures a few days ago, and he looks absolutely like he's taken his physique to another level. So, that's why I said before when we started filming, I said, there's a guy that could really sneak in and get in between some much, much bigger, better established names.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for this guy, because he's a little beast, this guy. And I'm really excited to see him in the flesh.
There's a lot of Mohammeds out there, guys. So just try to remember Foda, F-O-D-A, Foda. Yeah, it's a fairly common name, Mohammed. It's actually the most common name in the world, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. You'd think it would be Giles, but it's not. So 212 class, we have remember last year Angel Calderon was winning all the shows in a row. Now we have Bulgaria's Radoslav Angelov looking to do the same thing, because I bet he's going to do there's a show like in Spain again a week later or something, you said?
Yes, which is a qualifier for next year. So if he wins this one as well, he's crazy to not go to the big man weekend, because
he'll
like I said, if he's on a roll and he's feeling good and he's winning, go and do the big man weekend and qualify and then you can shut it, then you can go do the Olympia and then shut it down if you want to until next year. So it's a good little run of shows, actually.
Yeah. So he won in Europa last weekend, and was that last weekend, week before?
Last weekend. Because
Prague was 2 weeks, the weekend before that.
Yes.
Jeez, it's all like a blur now. Yeah, so I'm surprised he didn't do that one too. So Radoslav, obviously great 212 bodybuilder. Probably going to hurt a lot of feelings at this show. Probably going to take away an Olympia qualification someone else thought they were going to get, most likely. There are some good names on here, but man, Radoslav, he could be on a roll, could be unstoppable at this show.
I remember when he turned pro in UK at 2018. It was the June 2018 show in the UK, and he won. It was I think with the Ben Weider, I think it was, and he won the middleweights and he won the overall, when a middleweight wins the overall, they're really good. And he's like he was 80 kilos, so he's probably no more than 190 now. So, but like I said, we spoke about him in the preview, and I said, we had him as one of our favorites to win, because like I said, I saw some pictures of when he did Dubai. And the progress video he'd done right before the tan went on, he looked absolutely shredded, and he won. So I'm really obviously coming for a second win, but there is one other guy that I think will give him a lot of trouble.
I'm guessing you're thinking it's Thomas Tabassier. Do you know how do you say that? Tabassier?
Not a clue.
Well, it's Tabaciar in English. He's from Slovakia, so his actual name is probably spelled with a whole different alphabet. But he was 2nd place in Prague. So, yeah, when somebody's good enough to take 2nd, that means they were probably very close to the win. So he's probably the guy who's going to give Radoslav Angelov the biggest trouble this weekend.
Well, if you watch the live stream in Prague, I actually had him winning the 212.
Oh, wow.
It was actually Lauren, because she was sat next to me, and she said when she saw Peter Molnar come out at the night show, she says, "No, Giles," she says, "I've got a feeling." I mean, you can go check, it's on record. She says, "No, I've got a feeling Peter's going to win this." I said, "No. I said, "Thomas has got this in the bag. He looks sensational. He's overall, he's got a better physique, blah, blah, blah." Yep. And she was right.
Yeah, well, she got to be right sometimes.
And also the Global Muscle as well. I had a really long, like, it wasn't even an interview, it was a conversation with Peter Molnar. And I tell you what, that's one of the most engaging, interesting conversation, because like normally I think the longest I've ever spoke to for anyone for on Global was Phil Heath and Flex Lewis. I mean, they were like an hour and a half. And normally once I get to 30, 40 minutes with anyone, I feel like it's kind of starting to wrap up a little bit. But we went double that. And it's really, what an interesting guy, because I've been trying to get him for a while. So I got him on Global. So so check that out. It's out the same day this goes out.
Before that, actually, if you know, with I don't know, barring calamity or something, that's going to be out 9:15 Eastern. I'm going to say today. We're recording this Tuesday, but that's going to be 9:15 on Wednesday, and then this will be on what Jen calls the lunch run. I think she puts that up around noon or 1 or something like that. So check out MD Global Muscle, especially if you've never heard the Peter Molnar story. I never have, so I'm going to take a listen.
Honestly, I couldn't believe what an interesting guy, because it was really different. And like I said in Hot News, I said that wasn't an interview. I said that was a proper conversation between like a really, really deeply interesting guy. Actually, check it out. He's got a very interesting story. Cool.
So the other guy that I think is going to be in the first call up for sure at this 212 in Romania is Mahmoud Al-Dura from Canada. They just call him Dura. He's a Redcon athlete. He has like 500 online clients, very successful coach, has a cool supercar. I can't remember what it is right now, but he's just a cool guy. I've always enjoyed talking to Dura. I think he just competed one of these shows. Don't ask me which one, because I won't be able to remember, but he was a little off. He said, I know what needs to be fixed, and he's going to fix it for this. And I remember seeing him at the Toronto Pro a few years ago, very close second to, I think it was Zane Watson. And he was damn impressive. I think he could have won that show. So Dura, hell of a physique on Dura.
I rate him. Yeah, like I said, it was interesting to see. It was cool to see him making a comeback.
Oh yeah.
So, but because didn't he have some? I saw a video of him on crutches or something. He had some back problems.
Yep.
That's what caused him to stop competing, and it's kind of like a bit of an inspirational story how he's come back. So, and the thing is, he's one of these guys who's got a big following, but he actually has very, very big engagement, because the comments and the likes. He's obviously got all his clients and all the bodybuilding fans he has over that side of the world. Yeah. But he also was from the Middle East. He speaks Arabic. Is Arabic?
Yeah, for sure.
Am I right there? Okay, yeah. So he has all those. I think he connects with those fans a lot, because he does a lot of videos where he's talking Arabic, and so this guy's got a really big following and a big sort of fan base. So it's nice to see this guy come back. And I'm actually, like I said, I've never seen him on stage yet, so I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the flesh.
He's going to kill me if I get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's originally from Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I could be wrong, Mahmoud Dura. I'm sorry but I'm pretty sure it's Egypt. Wouldn't you want to be from Egypt anyway, Dura? Yeah, of course you would.
Yeah.
So, and the last guy we'll talk about in 212, never heard of him before, from Moldova, which is actually a country. When I did my DNA test, when my brother did it, I didn't bother. I had some ancestry from Moldova, Romania, and Ukraine. So I guess I'm related to this guy, Vladimir.
Yeah, created in the lab, mate.
Yeah, Yakoviev. It's Iacoviev. He just took 4th place at the Europa in the 212, and you said he was previously an Open competitor.
Yeah, in Prague he did the Open.
Oh wow!
And I think he made. I don't think he got a very good placing, but he looked really, really good. But he was one of those guys that, like I said, he comes out and he is a legit 212. Probably he's probably only a couple of pounds over. And he came out by himself and he looks incredible. But then when you see him next to the other guys who are just so gigantic and so much bigger, he kind of got lost in the mix a bit. But he did himself proud. He looked really, really good. Because on the day of the show, when I was doing the live stream, I was getting messages from Mohammed Elamam. And he said, he's my friend. He said he's doing Open this week. He says, and next week he's going to Alicante and he's going back to 212. So obviously taking 4th place in Alicante last week was that's where he belongs.
Yeah.
And he's so he's coming back this week as a 212 again. So he's obviously going to be he's going to be a front runner. His condition's really good as well.
Did Prague not have a 212 division?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say-
Moldau won it.
Okay, that's right. Because I mean, sometimes I see shows without a 212 class, and you'll see some guys that are 212 competitors jump into the open just because they want to do that show. I didn't know if that was
Yeah.
Okay. Classic. We just got a couple more guys to talk about. Runner-up in Prague was Kelvin Hinge from UK. I saw some pictures. Very impressive physique on this guy. So again, when somebody's good enough to be runner-up in a class, and Classic's never a small group of guys at any show guy. So men's physique and Classic, there's always a long list of names. Trust me. So if he was that good, he's probably the front runner to win this.
He is, but he did make top 6 last week in Alicante.
Ah, dang it,
Yeah,
Kelvin.
so he's kind of up and up, but he's had 3 second places this year. He's got a shitload of points. So I think even if he didn't do this show, I think he's still going to be qualified for the Olympia. He's still going to do the Olympia. So he's obviously just going because he just wants. He's so adamant he wants to be in the 2022 Olympia. He's really. I mean, this guy has put some serious mileage in, air miles in, because he's really worked hard. And the thing is, all that prepping and flying back and forth. I mean, I don't know how these athletes do it sometimes. And I know they're only short flights in Europe, but he's been over and he's done Legion. He's done.
Oh wow.
He's done a ton of shows, and he's doing really. He's very consistent. I mean, he's like 3 second places in shows in America and Europe. This guy's really, really good. And it was a flip of a coin between him and is it Patrick in Prague. So I'd love to see him get a win, because just to see the relief on his face.
Yeah.
Like Theo, it's just, even though he's got enough points, I think he would just be so happy if he went in with a win.
Yeah. I mean, I know this is where we're in fantasy land here, but if you were trying to get to the Olympia, Giles, and you're a bodybuilder, would you feel like you're a little less than the other guys if you got there on points versus a win?
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, like Theo sent me a little video message yesterday because he was just so happy, and because I posted on MD Global Muscle, the Instagram, and he said, "Oh, thank you, Giles," and he's just obviously so happy to get a win, because like I said, maybe there's an element of pride there. So even if you're at the top of the point standings, like remember when Nathan Diasha said to Sergio at the 2018 Olympia, and he says, Sergio, why are you even here? You don't even deserve to be here because you didn't get in on a win. It was something like that. And he says, why are you here? And then Sergio completely dismantled him because
I have to amend what I said, because sometimes you can win a show and it was a very weak lineup. Other times you can take second, third, fourth, and it was a much stronger lineup. So
there you go.
Who'd you beat? So. And did you know Kuklo is now third place in the points?
Sorry, what?
Kuklo, Steve Kuklo, he could go to the Olympia if he wanted to at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think he will. I think he's shut everything down. He's trying to make a baby and everything. But yeah, Jen alerted me to that yesterday. I was like, wow, okay.
Wow. Oh, the thing is, like, see, this is why I always say, if you qualify for the Olympia, you should do it. Because remember, Steve Kuklo was 6th place at the 2019 Olympia. Yep. 2020, he did qualify, but he says, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it because of COVID. And 2021, he tried and didn't. So, like Regan Grimes dropping out and everything, it's like, next year isn't guaranteed.
Nope.
There's so many, there's so many things that can happen in life. Things can get in the way. You can get injured. And I think to have that regret when later in your life or your career, when you think, I could have done that Olympia, and then you go in and you see the lineup and you think, I could have squeezed out a 7th place there. I'm better than that guy. It's like, I just think if you qualify, bloody do it. Because then you've got guys like Calvin Hind who are flying all over the bloody world, spending every penny they've got trying to just desperately qualify for the Olympia because that's their dream. I think there's something. I think for me, like I said, I'm a lot of people disagree with me. I'm sure on this one, but I think if you qualify for the Olympia, I think you absolutely, even if you're not even going to be a top 10 guy, I think it's almost like an obligation as respect to the Olympia title. I just think as an experience, it separates you. When you become an Olympian, it separates you, doesn't it?
Yeah, and like you said, that might have been your only chance. You don't know what's going to happen. You might have some horrible injury, your life, something might happen where you're never going to have that opportunity again for whatever reason. And then you look back and go, oh, why did I skip that? I could have been on the Mr. Olympia, and now I'm wah. The last guy we want to talk about, because I was very surprised to see his name on the list, from Greece. I think he's a friend of Dr. Touliatos, Chris Pistolas, an open bodybuilder doing classic. I just looked at his Instagram. He still looks like an open bodybuilder to me. So I guess I'm going to guess making weight is going to be a struggle for Chris Pistolas.
Well, thing is, even if he doesn't make weight, he can go and do the open. So I mean, it's like it's not a disaster. It's not like you know that. Do you know that Peter Molnar? This is what he told me. He actually did the interview in Alicante. He was supposed to compete, and if you remember, he was supposed to do the Arnold UK as a classic, but then didn't make classic weight, so had to do 212.
Right.
Then he went to Alicante last weekend after winning in Prague and coming second in classic at Hungary, which I was at. I'm confused now. Hang on. He then went to the Alicante and didn't make 212. Oof. So he said, I said, look, why didn't you just go and do open? And he says, no. He says, I can't go hopping divisions like that. So
crazy though.
But this guy, Chris Pistolas, and if he's an ex-open competitor, it's not going to be disastrous for him if he doesn't make weight. He can still go and do open.
I mean, I'm totally speculating. He might be right at the weight he needs to be at. Some people look a lot heavier than they actually are, and vice versa. He might have no problem. I'm just saying he's got a lot of mass for classic. He's a big dude for classic. Not that these classic guys are lacking muscle mass, but Chris, to me, is packing a lot of dense, thick muscle mass on him. So I wish him the best. He just had a couple side shots. I didn't see the whole physique. So I'm curious to see how he does. It's always cool to see somebody try a new division. How's he going to fare?
Well, like I said, I think it's smart to try different divisions because, like you see the amateurs doing it all the time. They'll do it in the same show. They'll go and do men's physique. They'll do classic. They'll do open. And then they sometimes, if they're new and they've built this physique as a kind of a new version of themselves, how do they know where they're going to place in what until they actually try it? Yeah. You might get fifth in one and then go win like an hour later in a different category. I've seen it happen. So I think, like that Vlad guy, he was open in 212. You got Molnar doing 212 and classic and could have jumped in the open in Alicante and there'd be no issues and he wouldn't have looked out of place. Yeah. So it's like I said, I think sometimes, especially with your physiques changing and criteria is sometimes evolving into something else. I mean, look at like say figure. I mean, figure is becoming more like women's physique every day. So you can change from year to year.
Yeah. I've been to shows where the same woman won amateur shows, figure overall and women's physique overall, same show. Like, hey, anyway. So yeah. So this is happening this Sunday, guys. All the information is on wingsofstrength.net. That is the website. You can pick up all the info and you can get the pay-per-view. So all the pro categories are happening on Sunday, November 13th. Giles will be doing the commentary. You said Lauren's going to be doing the women's commentary with you or no?
She's doing interviews backstage, but I'm hoping I can at least in between, maybe I can grab her because it goes better when I've got somebody there with me,
Okay. So for you people in Europe, these times will make a little more sense. It's GMT +2 or something. I don't know. It's because you are 5 hours ahead of US East Coast time, and they are 2 hours ahead of you. So are you GMT? What's GMT?
Yeah.
GMT stands for what? Do you have any idea?
Greenwich Mean Time.
Oh, there you go. See, I knew you would know that. There's a Greenwich line or something, isn't there?
Yeah.
So it's going to be 9 a.m. in Bucharest. 2 a.m. for me, and then finals are at 4 p.m. in Bucharest. But most of you you're not going to be worrying about getting there personally. So go to wingsofstrength.net, pick up the pay-per-view, support the show. Romania Musclefest, last chance for any of these people to qualify for the 2022 Olympia. So competition will be very, very fierce. And you'll have the best possible commentator on the live stream, Giles Tiger Thomas. I mean, who else does what Giles does? Let's be real. Come on.
Well, there's not many people that can probably talk straight and be enthusiastic for like 10, 12 hours straight.
You know about all these different people. I've seen some where I'm cringing because they know nothing. Not that I know everything about every competitor, but sometimes they're like, well, this guy, and I'm like, they'll say someone had just been like fifth in the Arnold, and they don't even reference that because they have no idea.
Oh no. And also Alina messaged me, and I probably shouldn't reveal this, but Alina Popper, the organizer, she said, look, Giles, she says, do you want sheets of like the competitive history of all the athletes?
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, I said, well, to be honest, I said, most of the guys and, a lot of the female, a lot of the divisions I'm pretty much familiar with. I said, but that will take it to another level. If I've actually got like the contest results, like that's really good with the lesser known guys, and ladies, because that really, really helps. I mean, that will take it, that makes my job a lot, not just easier, but it's going to be, I'm going to give a better live stream commentary. Do you know what I mean? And also I'll be doing a bit of research before, because I've got the lists now. So there's a few names that who popped up on this one, or I've done a bit of research today, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys are really good. And ladies, these are really good. So I think it's going to be an interesting show, actually. I can't bloody wait.
Wow, good, Alina. Good for you, Alina Popa. I've never heard of a promoter going to those lengths to make the commentary better, ever.
Alina, tell you what, once you go to some of these events with a really good promoter, like the Prague, I mean, these people are so meticulous and down to the finest details, and they take such good care of you, and you're picked up at the airport, and everything's just, runs so. Alina's like that. I mean, that and the Wings of Strength team with Tim Gardner, because Tim Gardner's going to be there with all his team.
Yeah, that's right.
Jake, and they bring them all. They bring the whole Wings of Strength team from like bloody Nevada. Was it Nevada, from the west coast of America? They bring them all this way over. And I mean, that must cost so much money.
I think most of them are Tampa, Florida based, I think.
Oh, okay. But I tell you what, they are. You see them in operation, and you see them like Hungary. They were the same as well. I mean, because I was up in the balcony, and I could see everything backstage, the judges. And I tell you what, the level of promotion that these guys are put you like Alina and the Wings of Strength team, I said, it's absolutely incredible, because I feel like show production has gone to another level in this last couple of years. You've seen it with the Olympia, the width, the size of the stage, and the effort, and all these new things they're going to. It's I feel like everything's gone to a whole new level within the NPC and Pro League in the last couple of years. It's incredible.
They've stepped up their game for sure. So everybody, I'm not sure when we're going to have the judging wrap up exactly. The finals we'll do right after the finals. I'll be in on that. But if you turn on your notifications, that bell thing in the corner here as you're watching YouTube, turn on your notifications. You got to turn it on your phone too in the settings. You'll know when the videos are coming out. And we do these live. We do a virtual studio, and Jen, she does a heck of a job getting us in there and working in the footage and all that. So please join us Sunday here, Muscular Development on the YouTube channel. Of course, get that pay-per-view, wingsofstrength.net, so you can hear all of Giles' comments about every competitor, gold stuff. So thank you so much, Giles, for taking the time. I'll be talking to you again on Sunday. What's today? Tuesday? Gosh, can't even keep my days straight. Yeah, so it won't be long. It's coming right up. That's it. So guys, thanks for watching. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.